Hello and welcome to Women's World on Global Television. This is the program where women's voices are heard, women's experience are validated, and the issues that shape our lives are brought boldly to forefront, from health to family leadership, rights, and personal well-being. Women's World creates a safe space for honest conversation that matters. And with me is my ever vibrant co-host Anete Patrick and Priscilla Obasi.
Yeah.
Amazing to be here, always.
Always. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. On today's edition, we turn our attention to an issue that affects women across cultures, backgrounds, and borders, yet remain deeply misunderstood and often silenced. We are talking about domestic violence and, importantly, the form that goes beyond physical harm.
Many women live with emotional abuse, manipulation, intimidation, and control that leave no visible scars but cause lasting damage. These experiences are real, they are harmful, and they deserve to be acknowledged.
Today, we aim to break the silence, to challenge misconceptions, and empower viewers with knowledge, clarity, and hope. Through expert insight and open dialogue, we seek understanding and ultimately change.
And this isn't just a conversation about statistics or headlines, it's about real women, our mothers, sisters, daughters, friends, and colleagues who are hurting in ways we often see. Emotional abuse, manipulation, isolation, financial control, and gaslighting are all forms of domestic violence that silently strip away confidence, identity, and hope. We are here to recognize it, name it, and explore how women move from victimhood to victory right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Women's World on Global Television. If you're just joining us, today's discussion is about breaking the silence, domestic violence beyond physical abuse, a critical conversation about the hidden form of abuse that often goes unnoticed, unreported, and misunderstood. To help us unpack this complex issue, we are joined by our guest who brings both professional insight and deep understanding on the table. She is the founder of Youth for Peace and Entrepreneurship Initiative, where she championed women's empowerment, youth development, and girl-child education. She's also the founder Purple Pad, a social enterprise tackling period poverty while empowering women economically, and the Anchored Women Ministry, a faith-based platform supporting survivor and single mothers to find strength, healing, and purpose. She is no other person than Dorcas Eravare. Welcome to Women's World.
Thank you.
I hope we didn't murder that surname. You can help us pronounce it again.
Gary, bye.
Good
Good to have you join us, madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me online.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's set the record straight. Dorcas, many people still associate domestic violence strictly with physical harm. How do we define domestic violence beyond physical abuse?
Yeah, I think from society, until they see the wounds, they see the injuries, they see the scar, and maybe your black eye, that's when they will believe that you have been abused. But fortunately, physical abuse, the one that we see, is the last stage of abuse, of domestic violence. Before then, there's emotional, there's verbal, there's psychological, there's mental, there's financial abuse. So it is domestic violence is encompassing. It is both physical, emotional, and all of that. The physical one is the one that we see before we raise alarm. But before then, a lot of things would have happened that are even more dangerous than the physical abuse. So domestic violence is a pattern of behavior where one person exerts power and control over another person. Their spouse, their intimate partner, their person they are in a relationship with, it's just to exert power and control.
Well, there's a whole lot happening. From what you've seen, why do you think emotional and psychological or financial abuse are often ignored or minimized, especially in our society? Because like you mentioned right now, there's a stage to all of this. It grows from one stage to another. But how do we get this straight so that people can understand where it starts from the beginning?
Yes, I'm going to say that because it is not proven, because it can't be proven, unlike what you see with your eyes, the marks are there, you can say, oh, this is it. But when it comes to emotional, psychological, and financial, you can't prove it. There's no means to prove it. So society tends to ignore it. That's just because of the lack of the fact that there's something called emotional abuse. There's something called financial abuse. There's something called verbal abuse. Society has also normalized these things. And they'll tell you, as long as it's not life-threatening, as long as it's not, your life is not at risk, you can manage. And then victims they fear the fact that people will not believe them. When I tell you, they see you in the midst of money, and you tell the same person that your spouse is abusing you financially, nobody will believe that.
Very true.
Very
It
true.
can't be proven. Yes, there's no way to prove it. I think that's the reason why society has ignored it, and there's lack of awareness around those other forms of abuse.
Can you help us define financial abuse? Because a lot of people are going through that, they don't even know.
They don't even know they are going through
so maybe
financial
help
abuse.
Us break it down. What does it mean? At what point does the woman say, I am financially abused? Or will she come out to really, talk about her being financially abused?
Yes. One of the signs is when one person is in control of the finances of the family or in the household or in the home, and the person withholds money from their partner, or the person restricts you from having access to you to earn, even the power to earn. The person denies you to work, to even earn money, to earn salary, or to have your personal income. Once anybody deprive you of the means to earn money, to have access to money, to work for money, like possibly get work and earn money, that person is already abusing you, because it means that you have to depend on that person for everything, for socks, for sanitary pads, for powder, for earrings. Once you can't make financial decision by yourself in some basic necessity, then you're already in that state. You're already under that. That's already a sign of financial abuse.
Okay, and many women say things like, at least he doesn't beat me. Yeah. Why do you think emotional abuse has been normalized even amongst women themselves?
Yes, it's not just amongst women, it's amongst family members, amongst friends, in the church. They'll tell you as long as they beat you, as long as it's not beating you, it doesn't hit you. Manage, stay there and manage. But unfortunately, domestic violence can actually lead to the death of a woman. Because he has a way of turning your psychology. That's why we're talking about mental health now. He has a way of affecting you mentally. He has a way of affecting you psychologically. And then when the person is not hitting you, but this person is verbally abusing you, verbally desecrating your image, like you've lost your self-esteem, you've lost your ego, your confidence. You lost all of these things. You lost your self-worth. You doubt yourself. You doubt your self-worth. A time will come where you can decide to start. You just have another identity. You become another person. Different from who you are. It means that you question the way you think. You question what you say. This, you know that these are very correct things. This is correct. This is correct. But because you have been emotionally abused, psychologically and mentally, you doubt yourself. First of all, your identity is eroded. That's number one. You lost your confidence, your self-worth. You're not in doubt. As time goes on, you're already pushing towards suicidal thoughts. And when you carry these things too much, you start becoming depression. You're having depression. You become depressive. From depression, it leads to blood pressure, IBP. If you look at it, a lot of people who are complaining about blood pressure today, it started from somewhere. You might say, oh, they don't have this in my family. I should check the relationship. Blood pressure, from blood pressure, you start having heart attack, and then the loss of life. So emotional abuse is dangerous. And we will start to name it what it is. It is abuse. And women go through it a lot.
All right. At what point do women start recognizing this form of abuse in their own lives? And what are the early signs women should look out for in relationship that may indicate non-physical abuse?
And even physical abuse.
Yes, and even physical abuse.
Okay, I'm going to cite examples of some of the women that I have worked with and the ones I'm still working with. One of the earliest signs that you will see is over-possessiveness. When this person is over-possessive of you, this person monitors your movement, monitors your calls, monitors who you call, monitors who calls you, who talks to you. And then this person wants to be around you 24 hours of the day. If they are not there, their calls are there monitoring your every move. Number two, this person talks down on what you do. Probably your profession, the work that you do, talks down on what you do. And the person is already telling you, once we get married or once we get into a relationship, you're going to stop so and so this. That's a sign. That's something you should look out for. And then somebody who also doesn't forgive, who is always vindictive. You always know them that they'll tell you, oh, let's forget about it. But in 2 days, in 3 days time, that will play out. The signs are always there. They're there as red flags, but just that we don't pay attention to them. Or we see them as love. Oh, this person always want me around. Wants to know where I am. This person is so careful, is so caring. No. That person is a monitoring spirit. It's a controlling spirit. That person has controlling spirit. And once they're able to control your life, once you also get into that marriage or into the relationship or into however they end, that control will be magnified in so many other things. At this time, you're already this person's wife or partner. At this time, they might not even allow you to see your family members. They might take you very far away from your family members, like moving far away. And then they're telling you your friends are not good enough for you. These are friends that you've known for years, and then somebody's coming to your life and telling you this person is not good for you. Those are tiny signs that we kind of ignored. But when you are not in the marriage, when you are not submitted to this man because you want to submit as a woman, these things will be magnified. So those are tiny signs we can look out for. Yes.
It's amazing, and listening to you has actually played out a whole lot of things in my head, and I'm just sitting here and just saying, these are real life realities. I've seen this play out. I've seen this play out in so many cases, and I just looked at it and said if these people had understood this from the beginning. But let's look at how does manipulation, gaslighting, or constant criticism gradually affect a woman's self-esteem and decision-making? Because just like you've mentioned, over-possessiveness plays a major role. Distancing from loved ones because person wants to have full control. These are things that have played out. So how can they manage, how can a woman know that manipulation, gaslighting, or constant criticism gradually affects her self-esteem and decision-making?
Yes, it affects you. You know that you're experiencing or you're going through all of this when you're not suddenly prone to anxiety. You're suddenly prone to depression. You're no longer good enough. Your decision making is no longer good enough. You're already doubting yourself. Once you're able to notice this as early as possible, you have to reroute, because most of the time these things they disguise themselves as care, as I just have to tell you because I love you. Or most of the time, it's either the person your partner is saying this to reduce who you are, to reduce your confidence, to be able to control. Sometimes men also check the level of control they can have. So they throw these things at you. Your response is to also let them know that, okay, I can control this person to an extent. I can do this to an extent. Most of the time, gaslighting during relationship, they will say women are blind, women follow what they hear, and you can be sweet talk into so many of other things. But what I would advise is that don't do relationship in secret, don't do relationship in isolation. Be around people who will see you live out your
and see what you're saying.
Relationship with this person, who can point out so many things that you might not be paying attention to, and then have the will, the personal will to listen. When people are also drawing your attention to some of these things that you should see. Yes, you can criticize somebody, but you can do it in love. But if it's to now reduce your self-esteem, for you to not doubt yourself or you lose your identity, then it is not normal, it is not good.
Okay, lots of questions just popping in my head. First of all, I want to ask the thin line between submission and, giving someone the empowering someone to abuse you as a woman. And secondly, can someone be in a relationship, abusive relationship, even if their partner never raises a hand? The final one is it's kind of, maybe just answer the two first. Yeah, okay. I think you said people shouldn't do relationship in isolation. Does this also include marriage? Because there's always a saying that marriage is, between two persons. Keep people out of your marriage, third party, and all of that. So that saying, is it also to the married people? And if yes, what's the safe way about it? I don't know if you got my 3 questions.
So you're saying when it comes to marriage, should people also live
in isolation?
Have people that will live? Yes.
Yeah.
When it now comes to marriage, it's going to be accountability partners.
Okay.
You have people that you are accountable to.
Okay.
You have people who see you live out your life with this person. So most of the time they'll tell you, who does this person submit to? Who does this person fear? Who does this person reverence? When something is happening and you need to talk to, who can you talk to? You must have those people, even in marriage. You must have them. So those people are people who you're going to be accountable to. There are people who can call you to order. There are people who can call your spouse to order. So you don't also do marriage like 2 of us against the world. No.
Okay, what's the thing?
Your family are there. His families are there. Your friends are there. Who would? In my own case, let me use myself as an example. Okay. I was in a marriage for 5 years and it was abusive all through. And of course, I fought to make sure that he didn't cut me on family members. But I also wasn't talking to my family members because I've also heard that you don't take your matters to your family because they will be biased. Yeah. But even in the because of that, my elder brother would always ask me, what's going on? You're not yourself. You don't look yourself. That's somebody who was paying attention to me. That's somebody who knew who my sister was before marriage and what she looks like now, a shadow of herself in marriage. But even when I wasn't talking to my family members, I was talking to the church leadership. I was talking to those people. But most of the time, you find out that if your partner doesn't listen to anybody, there's nobody you can report the person to. If your partner doesn't reverence anybody, even when they are doing that, there's nobody that can call them to order. So from courtship, from dating, you must know that this person reverences this person. This person fears this person. He honors this person. He loves this person. So those people are your accountability partner. Those people are the people who put an eye on you, even in your marriage. So there is no solution even in marriage.
I also asked the thin line between submission and giving somebody the power to abuse you, because as women sometimes you want to look at it from a religious perspective, and sometimes we go overboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I also experienced that because while the abuse was going on and I was talking to my pastors, the words that were used was wise woman abuse her home. You have to go and submit, no matter what, submit to the man. You have to pray for this man and allow God to do the work. And then the phrase God hates divorce. These are statements that have been put out there to make a woman question whether she should submit to an abusive partner or not. Now, I'm going to say this right. Once your partner becomes abusive, they have broke the vows they made on the altar before you and before God and before your church members and your family members. They have broken that vow. Yes, the Bible says divorce only from infidelity. But there's also a place in the Bible that says those who deal treacherously or violently with their spouse, the Lord hates them. You already broke that vow of submission. A woman cannot submit to abuse. No woman should submit to any form of abuse. If you go to the church, I'll keep screaming it. If you go to the church and you're not hearing what the church is supposed to say, and the church is not calling the abuser to order, but they're asking you to pray, fast, be submitted, a wise woman abuser, it is wise for you as a woman to find your way out. First, find your way out first until somebody's able to listen. You don't submit to an abusive partner. No. At all. You submit to a godly partner. The partner who honors God, a man who honors God and fears God will honor you. Will not deal with you treacherously. Will not do anything that is harmful to you. So why submit? I am not of that school of thought that you submit to an abusive partner. It's a no-no for me.
Okay, so there's a whole lot from what you've said for we that understand certain things and seen. I like the fact that you brought your survival story to this particular scene right now. So there's a whole lot when we talk about the financial abuse and women finding their balance and trying to get their independence back. So what signs should the women look for if they suspect their finances are being controlled? And how can they regain their independence? Because you've mentioned, I like the fact that you set this out, because a lot of people think when you say it, you're from a different climate or a different climax, or one, you're not from the earth, you're just from somewhere from Plateau or whatever. But I know, I'm going to play my scenario. I know I have a sister who, from the onset of the relationship, there were signs. But I think at that point she had she wasn't safe in the sense that she was coming from a place where it was worse, and she thought this was better because the first sign was there was a slap in the relationship, and for that it felt like a normal thing, arguments between couples and and then she got comfortable thinking it was going to be the best because he apologized. Of course, abusers will apologize, give you gifts, make you feel safe, and isolate you gradually. But one thing that played out for her was she held on to me. And she knew that she even told him, if it's because of Anity, I will have to leave the marriage. That's one thing that played safe for her, and myself and the husband never blended. Because I saw the signs, because I'm coming from a background where I've seen that destroy the woman. So I understood, I could read where she could not read. So I want to talk to us, let people understand where they know the financial abuse is also playing out very, and how they can get themselves out of it and have their freedom, regain their independence and stand tall for themselves.
Okay. Most of the time, I'm going to say most of the time, women don't even call it what it is. Because the church doesn't call it what it is. Family members don't call it what it is. So women also don't call it. We don't call it abuse. We frame it as every marriage goes through this. Every marriage experiences this and this. Every marriage experiences these challenges. But can we at least start from saying this is what you should expect or this is what you should experience? But when it gets to this and this, it's a no-no. So for a woman who's already saying that, okay, I'm already been abused, and she wants to call it what it is. Because for a woman who has really gone through the stages of abuse, she might never have finances anymore. She might have been deprived of the opportunity to work. She might also have been cut off from family and friends. She might have been cut off from the society and just isolated. So for a woman like that, what do? The first thing you should do is to sit back and look at the people that you can still reach out to. You can call on that will listen to you. Like you said, your sister had you. When in my own situation, when I started calling it what it was, okay, this is abuse. Okay, this is what it is. I started looking at who are my support system? Who is the person that I will talk to that will understand exactly what I am saying and how I feel? Who is the person that I can ask for money that would attend to me on the instant? It might not be one person, so there might be several people, several women, or different kind of people that will stand as pillars in these areas. So when mine happened and I needed to get out of the house, I called my elder brother's wife. I didn't call my sister.
Okay.
I didn't call my parents. I called my elder brother's wife because I know she was the person that I can tell I need to get out of this house in the next 1 hour, and she will be there and I will be out. So that woman needs to sit back and ask herself, what do I need? Because escape is not even a 1 month plan. Escape room, when you say you want to get out of there, it is not something you just do now or in the immediate. It's something you plan towards, you work towards, you walk around, you gather your information, gather yourself, gather your things, gather the people, your support system, women that can stand, that can cover you. You must have those people.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yes.
Every woman must begin to look inward, look at your contacts, even the people you have ignored all this while, even the person you have said, you are wrong, is my husband, leave us alone. You see that same person, that person is just waiting for you to say, I need help right now. And they will jump on it and bring you out of that place. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a whole lot from what you've said, and this has actually worked for women, and we hope that going forward that women would gradually understand how to navigate through this phase of life, because women have a whole lot, we're emotional beings, that's where we're trapped with a lot of concerns. And so we're just going to take this break, but still, as you're watching Women's World on Global Television, we'll be having a powerful and eye-opening conversation on breaking the silence, domestic violence beyond physical abuse, with Dr. Dorcas Igariba, founder of Youth for Peace. and entrepreneurship initiative. We will return to dig deep into the conversation on non-physical abuse and mental health, independence and sense of self, and more importantly, the practical steps women need to take to seek help, rebuild confidence and reclaim their lives. Well, that will be most of our conversation after this break. Please stay with us.
It's quite an emotional one. If you're just joining us right here, it's Women's World, and we're discussing breaking the silence, domestic violence beyond physical abuse. The conversation focused on the emotional, the psychological, and financial forms of abuse that often go unseen, but deeply affect women's life. We're still joined by our guest, Dr. Dorcas Gareva. It looks like we're about to ordain you a doctor on the show today. She's the founder of Youth for Peace and Entrepreneurship. She has been sharing valuable insights on how to control manipulation and isolation, how all of this show up in relationships, and why recognizing these patterns early is so important. In this segment, we'll be looking at the impact of non-physical abuse on women's mental well-being, how survivors can begin their journey towards healing and independence, and what support systems are available for women who are ready to speak up and seek help. Thank you so much, Ma, for still being here with us.
Thank you.
Well, there's a whole lot. Like we said, we wanted to jump into the conversation and see how that can change the narrative of things. Silence seems to be one of the strongest weapons of abuse. And that has to do with stigmatization, of course, not that because women don't want to be stigmatized. They don't want to be seen in a way, particular pattern. So women always feel, let me just stay in silence, stay in my space. And I like the fact that you triggered the conversation by saying you don't do relationship or marriage in isolation. There's a place called, there's a thing for accountability if you want to be alive. Is who is alive that can stay in that relationship. But from your experience mentoring women and survivors, what does prolonged emotional or psychological abuse do to a woman's mental and emotional health?
Well, prolonged abuse can lead to anxiety, depression, and trauma. And if it prolongs further, it can lead to heart attack, it can lead to death. We've heard of scenarios where women die as a result of abuse, domestic violence. Women have lost their lives. Children have been mutilated. It's a lot. So when it comes to prolonged abuse, it's because abuse also thrives in silence. Because once you put it out there, once you speak out, people are going to take sides. People are still going to curse you out. People are still going to drag you. They will tell you, you didn't do this right. You didn't choose right. What did you do as a woman? You did not say your own side of the story. You did not say what you do to trigger the man. So most of the time, abused women have stayed silent and abusers have stayed covered because they know that the society will take side with them. If we take it out there, society will take side with them because we kind of live in a society where a lot of people hate women. And I'm sorry to say that a lot of people hate women. We live in a society where women are second-class citizens, if not third class. So when you come out to say you have been abused, people are rather asked you to keep short, you're not the first person. Our mothers went through it. They survived it. You too go through it and survive it. So, but the solution will still be just speak out.
Speak up.
Expose it. Expose the abuser. Expose the abuse. Yes.
You know, women are told to endure, pray, or be patient, especially when the relationship involves children. They will tell you to pray, to have patience. How does this kind of advice, even well-meaning, contribute to deeper harm?
Yes. A lot of women have stayed because of their children.
Yes.
A lot. Our mothers, our friends that we know, a lot of them are staying because of their children. But it still doesn't stop the fact that this person is in an abusive relationship, abusive marriage. So advising them to be patient and endure can even contribute to more deeper harm. Because at this time, it is not just the couples that are involved, there are children involved. There are children involved. Most times we think abuse is just a man and a woman. The children have been abused too. Your children going through that psychologically, mentally, crying and screaming at the top of their voice for mommy and daddy to stop fighting or to stop cursing out. It is abuse on its own. So we must stop asking women to be patient or to even stay because of their children. Of course, the reason why women are staying because of their children because they have been denied the opportunity to earn money. They have been denied finances. That's where the financial abuse comes in, because if you have your finances, you have the right to make decisions. You can decide to pack out of that place with your children in that same hour, or when the man goes to work, you're already out because you have finances. But these men, these abusers, they are very strategic. They are very tactical. They know what they are doing. So they stifle you first. They clip your hands first. You can't walk. You don't have finances. So tomorrow when people are saying, you know, why you want to take 4 children, where are you taking them to?
Where do you want to start from?
You start all over again. How do you get accommodation? I was there. I was there. Before I got married, I traveled to Ghana, I go to Togo, I bring in Ankara, Wodin from outside the country, bring into Nigeria, make ready-made clothes, sell wrapper. After NYC, and then I got into that marriage. I didn't travel for 5 years. I didn't have finances. I didn't have anything. So the first thing that was in my head was survival. How do I even start all over again? How do I even live here and go and start all over? Where do I start from? Okay, I have a child. How do I feed this child? How do I provide accommodation? How do I provide shelter? How do I do this? Once women begin to think about this, they just tell you, once you tell them, stay because of the children, they stay. Because they've not worked for years. I didn't work for 5 years. For 5 good years, I didn't work. I couldn't even afford sanitary pads.
My God.
It was that bad. But there was money in the house. But I couldn't afford sanitary pads. I have to, when I started having my child, I started using my child's diaper for pads. After cutting his flannels, it took bras to use for my son, to manage my periods.
Wow.
It gets to that point whereby you've lost hope, you've lost yourself, you've lost your identity, you've lost your self-worth, and then you're asking me to go and start from where? So I would tell women, because of the children, stay. Yes, because the burden to raise children is heavy. You cannot take children and go and stay on the streets. And then because of your hurt, you're coming from, you don't even want another person to add to it. You're afraid to go back home. Possibly you come from a place where they tell you, once you marry, they come back house. That's ringing at the back of your head that you don't even have a place in your father's house. Nobody's asking you to stay. You're not coming back with children. Okay, let me stay here. Let me stay this where I've mastered. Instead, I'll just master this place. I know how to navigate it. That's how women are staying because of their children.
Ma, it's an emotional one in the studio. You work closely with women and young people. What impact does growing up in an emotional abusive home have on children?
I can hear you, please.
What impact, can you hear me? What impact
Yes,
would you say growing up in an emotionally, abusive home have on children, especially girls? And let's even also consider the men. And how can early intervention help break the cycle? I feel like a lot of people that are abusive came from abusive homes, and the cycle goes on and on. So first, how can we break the cycle? What is that impact that really goes on in their lives?
Okay, I want to believe that whether boy or girl, the impact will be the same. The impact will be the same. But for a girl child, in the first place, that child will never see themselves as worthy. They will never see themselves as worthy. They will grow up knowing that a woman is supposed to be subjected, a woman is supposed to be beaten, a woman is supposed to be humiliated, a woman is supposed to be abused. They see that as a sign. They take that as a sign of love. They see that as, okay, this is what love is. This is what marriage is. This is what having a relationship with a man is. And they will accept it anywhere they go. They will accept it from anybody. So children in an abusive home, they also experience the same thing you as the woman is experiencing. That emotional trauma, that anxiety, that depression, that panic attack, your children are experiencing it too. I can remember on one occasion where when it's time for this guy to beat me, like fight, let's start fighting, he will grab the child and give the child to his sibling who was in the other room. That's after my child has screamed his lungs out. How can you be beating the mother of your child, and then your child is there screaming, and you as a man, you can't hear your child? It will get to a point where they use their leg to kick the child and leave. So it got to that point where instead of leaving the child in the room with us screaming, he will ask his younger house to come and pick the child, and then will come and carry the child. Whether you like it or not, abuse, your body records abuse. But the child, they record it. So a time came that even when I was out of that marriage already, if I'm talking with somebody and our voices are loud, my son is already screaming, he's already crying, he's already shouting, like he's scared, like, why are we screaming? Why are we shouting like that? Why are we talking like that? Because he has seen that play out in the house. Whenever people's voices go up, he's war, he's fight. So he was already tuned to that in his subconscious that whenever the tone, your voice is loud, then it's trouble, it's war. And then I had to take my time. Sorry, baby. Sorry, I told my friend I was babysitting today. I had to take my time to start correcting that notion in his head that was abuse. That was not right. That was not proper. That was wrong. Families are not like that. I intentionally made sure that my child was out of that toxic environment, which was the first move. And then I intentionally brought him around families that were succeeding. So when I said you have to look out for people who are the people that will be your support system, these are the people that you can easily leave your child with. So say, okay, let me go and pursue this business, let me go and pursue this money. Because you can't lock them inside the house. So you must deliberately look for families that are succeeding, families that are godly. So I had those family members. I have those families as friends. I have women that I would just, okay, let's go and spend the weekend here. And then my son is able to experience what a family looks like, what the father and mother look like in the same house. But there's usually no fighting. There's nobody screaming at the top of their voice. There's nobody controlling.
Okay.
Then those children might need therapy at the end of the day.
I like the
Those
fact.
children might need therapy sessions. They might need counseling to work themselves out of that because it lives with them for years. And then you as the abused person, you must break whatever is happening to you, to your children, in the language that they understand.
Okay.
You must break it bit by bit. Let them understand this is what is going on. This is the actions I am taking. This is why I don't want you around your father. This is why I don't want you around this person. This is why I don't want to stay in this place. Because at some point, my husband would tell my son that I am the reason why he's not living in the house with him. Because my son always wants his father home. Daddy, why are you not staying in the house with us? He will tell him, your mommy doesn't want me to stay in the house with you. I have to deliberately and systematically let the child know that this and this has happened. This is the decision of my family. This is my decision. This is the church decision. And this is what we are doing. This is why we are here living by ourselves. Until we're able to resolve all of this. Because I needed to let you know that that was not wrong. That was very wrong. That was not the right thing to do. That was not how a family looks like. That was not how a father reacts. That's not how a mother behaves. I had to deliberately put my child through that. I also deliberately created families around him that were his support systems. Because this family will also have children. Because you cannot remove your child from a toxic environment and then throw him into another family friend that the children are cussing out themselves, are beating, fighting and all that. You must be deliberate once you are out for every interference, every interactions you have with anybody and your child have with anybody. They count.
All right, thank you. You've done a lot of justice to this conversation, and here is, I think we should do it on the personal notes. Maybe I should come out a bit and speak on some personal experience. So we want people to learn stories and know where it's heading to, because people don't know how real this is until they get close to it.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm coming from a family where there's been abuse, and I know what abuse is. Where you've mentioned where you had to do a lot of things just to survive. And I've seen where it actually drains a woman from herself. And the children are a shadow of themselves. There's fear, there's torment, there's a pattern that the children don't want to even be around the circle. Each time it comes, it's like a dream. The children have to fidget at night and scream out because of the constant banging on the door, smashing of things. So that plays out a lot. And then for the girl child, just like Priscilla was trying to mention, how does this play out in the girl's life? When a girl meets a first man as she advances into relationship, there's a fence. There's a fence to want to relate to the man, because the first thing you see, like they always tell the girl child, your father is your first love. And then you see a man and you read what your father is like in the man, and then you start to be judgmental. So it takes a whole lot to drain that. I like the fact that you said explain to the child systematically, aside what the child sees, because the child is in the early age of growing and needs to understand this. So I like the fact that you said break it down. I need people to come out of the shell of breaking silence and speaking up for themselves, because like I always tell a friend of mine, I said the children might not really understand the depth of the back and forth you have in the drama scene right now, but it's going to stay with them in the long term, because one, children have a memory of what they see play out in front of them. It stays with them for a lifetime. So tell them what. So that will bring me to tell you that what does healing look like for a survival of emotional or psychological abuse, and how important is professional support as in terms of counseling or therapy in rebuilding the mental strength that the woman gets her life back and has a mental life in order, and then she has emotional stability for her, and then she can translate this into the children.
Okay. The road to healing, the road to emotional healing is a tough one. It's a long one, because the woman has a lot to deal with. Because once you come out of abuse, people will talk, families will talk, and there's so many things that you will hear that you know. So you won't even believe, oh, is that me? Excuse me. People will paint pictures of you, wrong pictures of who you are. So the road to healing is long and it's lonely. It's lonely in the sense that after everybody is able to sympathize with you, you go back home by yourself in the middle of the night and sit by yourself, and you deal with that loneliness. And in the reason why some women also go back to their abusers is because you see that loneliness after being married. It is hard. It is real. That if you don't have your self-will, a strong will, you will easily go back to your abuser. It was better. Let me just go and manage. So for a woman, and for a woman who is trying to find themselves, they're out of there, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be hard. It is not an easy route. It is going to be difficult. If you don't have money, then you see that difficult. Ask to raise the power too. Because it means that you're either going to start begging from hand to mouth. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
You're going to depend on some people at some point. And there's going to be shame. There's going to be just stigmatization is going to be there. But you must be determined that the fact that you left was your first victory, was your first win.
True.
So you surviving, healing is going to be not just your own win or your children's win. So because when you win, they win. And then once you leave, everybody's expecting you to fail. They don't want to identify with you. They don't want to support you. You see friends turning their backs on you. That is not the time to get teary or cry. That is the time to face your life. That's the time to take the bull by the horn and tell yourself that we will make it. And wherever you're starting from, start anyhow. Start from the ground zero and then build up. Because that's why I started from. When I came out from that marriage, I was as poor as the olden days church rats, not the church of these days.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. We would have loved to take more, but time wouldn't permit us. Thank you, Dorcas River. Thank you so much for those powerful and honest insights. What we've heard in this segment reminds us that silence is never harmless. Emotional and physical abuse may leave no visible marks, but its impact on women's mind, confidence, and sense of self can be profound and long-lasting.
The cost of silence is heavy, yet the power of awareness, support, and compassion can begin to lift that burden. Today, we want every woman watching to know this.
And this also want to make you understand that if you're struggling, if you're confused, if you're feeling diminished in your own home or experience, or what you need to do, it is valid, your experience is valid, abuse is not defining you at all, or by any physical harm, but control, manipulation, isolation, and fear are not signs of love, and you do not have to endure them in silence. Healing may not be instant, but it is gradual.
Yeah, independence may not come at all, but every small step, seeking help, speaking to someone you trust, choosing yourself is a step towards freedom and restoration. And for families, friends, and community, the message is clear. Listen without judgment, support without blame, and stand with women instead of silence. Thank you for watching Women's World today. To stay connected, kindly follow us on all our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG. Till next week, I am Kike Lomo Okere, and with me I have
Anita Patrick. Thank you for joining us
today. And I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you for joining us.
And we say have an amazing day ahead of you.
Yeah, sure.